Views and opinions expressed in this production are those of the individual and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Shooters Nation or our sponsors. Information provided on this show is not a replacement for legal counsel or professional training. Listener and viewer discretion is advised. This is especially true on live shows.
Welcome to the Shooters Nation podcast, the show created for you, the armed citizen. Join our hosts and subject matter experts as we talk about guns and gear, practical training and knowledge, Second Amendment issues, and the firearms culture. Be sure to join us after the show at shootersnation.com and become part of the Shooters Nation.
Welcome to the Shooters Nation podcast. I'm your host, David Yancey, and today we've got a show that is all about you, the listener. But first, we want to remind you, you can connect with us after the show at shootersnation.com. Be sure to sign up for the Mail Blast mailing list while you're there so that we can keep you informed of what's happening. You can also follow us on social media as well. On Instagram, we are at Shooters Nation Radio, and you'll find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ShootersNation. Don't forget to sign up for the Facebook Shooters Nation community while you're there. If you like what you're hearing, you can help support the show by becoming a Patreon patron at patreon.com/ShootersNation. Our patrons often find out who our guests are going to be first, and they have the chance to submit questions for us to ask on the show with them. Finally, the best way you can support us is absolutely free. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, etc., and be sure to leave us a positive review on whichever outlet it is that you use. Each positive review that you leave helps someone else discover the show and become part of the Shooters Nation. So, with that all out of the way, Mark, what's up, man? Welcome back. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been I missed the last episode, which always bums me out a little bit, but it was a good one, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah. Well, we missed you. We talked about you once or twice. Yeah. You'll find it. you may have been blamed for something. I don't know. So.
I can't imagine.
Well, our schedules have both been pretty hectic lately, and it's good to have you back. It's been a minute, and then we're actually going to get to see each other here this next week, which is pretty exciting. So that'd be fun.
Yeah, shake hands for the first time.
Shake hands, exchange a bottle of something. May go home with you and your luggage. So yeah, that'll be fun. So a little bit of bootlegging going on there. Yeah. Well, so tell me about it, man. So this time of year, weather-wise, you guys normally are dealing with mud season. How's that going for New Hampshire?
Yeah, it's we had kind of like a quick thaw a few weeks ago, and then it's just kind of been cold and a little bit of snow in the night sometimes, and it's just been yucky, kind of cold, a little rainy, kind of windy. It's not fun. Kind of like hovering right around 30 and 40 degrees most days. Sometimes.
Was that during the day or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's spiking to about 50 a couple times, but for the most part, it's just kind of just yucky, just nothing you want to be in.
Yeah, it sounds like the worst foreplay for spring ever.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Kind of gross. Well, it's definitely spring here. Everything that's blooming is trying to kill me. I'm breathing through a very small straw, it feels like. So my apologies to the audience for what they have to listen to. And since it's spring, that also means thunderstorms. We're actually in the middle of a thunderstorm right now. Hopefully the listeners won't hear that on the mic, but it'll be interesting. If the power gets knocked out, we may have to regroup. So I'll just kind of throw that out there now. It could be an edited episode, but hopefully not too much. Yeah, but man, if it's not covered in rain right now, it's covered in pollen, and I just hate life every spring.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit before we get see any pollen up here, I think.
Yeah. Well, does it get bad for you guys like it does here? I mean, right now you could write your name in it. So
yeah, it'll cover a car.
Yeah. I think it's trees that are blooming right now, according to the news. And man, I thought I liked trees, but apparently they don't like me at all. Well, so you missed the last episode, and we definitely missed you. It was a good conversation with Noelle from the Concealed Carry Woman. But in between time, we also did a listener survey, and I've shared the results with you. We've both looked at them, And we thought it'd be good to talk about that this episode and make it all
Yeah.
about the listener, right? So,
Yeah.
um, folks, we sent the listener survey to members of the Mail Blast mailing list. And again, you want to sign up for that. You want to go over to shootersnation.com and sign up for that. You never know what we're going to send out. But we sent out a survey and we asked you all 6 questions meant to help us get a feel for what we're doing right, what we need to improve on, and where you'd like to see the show go in the future. And I guess really a key point for me, Mark, in that I want everybody to understand is that this show really is all about the listeners, right? If we're not doing a good job or if we're not providing the content that they want to hear, what's the point other than us getting to hang out?
Yeah, I mean that's really the only point, right? Is
Mhm.
to help people on their journey, so to say, and try and get some free knowledge and give you something to listen to that can you can absorb some information, some good information maybe on your way to work in the morning, and achieve something from it. Without the listener, there's no real point, like you said.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm happy to see some of the comments that we got. I was really happy to see that people didn't hold back on some of the critiques, if you
Hmm.
will. There was nothing really nasty in there, which was
Hmm.
nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of good not to have somebody write F you guys, I hate you, wish you were all dead, whatever. So
Which is strange with a group of guys that we hang out with. You'd think somebody would troll.
somebody's gonna say that, right? And just because dudes like to give each other a hard time, there's gonna be one of those guys say, you suck, go jump off a bridge,
Yeah.
but there was none of that, which I guess I was happy, but a little sad maybe that somebody didn't give us a hard time. But
Hmm.
yeah. So anyway, what we thought we would do with this episode, and uh, not really sure how long the episode will be as a result of this, but it'll be good to go through the survey results, and I want people to know that we read them, and we're going to read these things on the show today and
Yeah.
respond to them. Right.
Hmm.
So, if you're good with that, we'll go ahead and roll right on into it.
Let's do it.
All right. So, the first question that we asked everybody was, how are we doing in these areas? And the areas in particular, we asked about production quality, the likability of the hosts, interesting topics, and subject matter experts. We also asked about episode length of play. How are we doing in those areas? And the thing that I wanted to just hit right off the bat was the production quality. Uh,
Hmm.
there's a couple of statements and a couple of feedback items that we got in the survey that touched on this, and um, it's challenging. We've kind of gotten better every single episode. I adjusted the audio gear here in the studio in Nashville. Uh, just yesterday, I sat down and I rolled through the controls on the recording gear and made sure that all the levels were set right. And I completely changed it up and went with a new thing. But sometimes it's just hit or miss. Um, I think consistently, you and I have had really good audio, Mark, and
Hmm.
we're trying really hard to coach the guests, the SMEs, to
Yeah.
do certain things. But sometimes we're just victims of internet recording, and the audio gets a little wonky. So
Well,
um,
and, I think the thing is, I hate to ask too much. I already feel like we're like somebody like, for instance, the last episode I was on, Rob Pincus
yeah,
is he's a very busy guy, as we
right.
pointed out very much in the episode, but he gave us a few hours. You know
Yes,
what
he
I mean?
did.
So the last thing I want him to be doing is like running around on the middle of his tour, like trying to find proper headsets and all that kind of
Right,
stuff.
right.
Like, Rob, just get a good connection and do your best with some
Yeah,
earbuds. And that's basically what he was running with. And
yeah,
you know, uh, I hate to ask too much of somebody that's already donating their time for our
I agree.
cause.
I agree. That maybe that's a thing to point out too, is that when you listen to some podcasts, with much bigger audiences, sometimes the guests are paid to appear.
Hmm.
And we're not making a dime off of this thing yet, and
Hmm.
we certainly can't afford to pay our guests, to come on and record with us. So the best that we can offer them is a little bit of exposure, in return, exposure to our audience, and exposing our audience to the services and products that they provide. So that's kind of it. And so, um, you're right. I don't really want to impose a whole heck of a lot on our experts. What I would ask the listeners to do is just, go easy on us a little bit there.
Mhm.
And bear in mind that, some of these folks are joining us while they're in hotels. Rob was,
Many of them,
yeah,
many of
many of
them.
them have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rob was traveling. Uh,
Mhm.
William, the SEAL that had recorded with us back early in last year to talk about church security and school security,
Mhm.
he was driving like 30 miles to go back to his office, his daytime, week time job office to use the internet there because
Mhm.
the internet at his home wasn't reliable. And he was doing that at night. I mean, like, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. So, the guests so far have been super gracious. And sometimes the audio is just not great. So if
Yeah.
it sounds like they're dialing in from a telephone,
Yeah.
chances are they are.
Yeah, Rich Graham, he's in the middle of nowhere with
Yeah.
barely an internet connection at all.
Yeah.
It's he said it was slightly better than dial-up, but
Right. Yeah, he did.
he did the best that he could, but that was another one that with amazing content from a
Yeah.
super smart dude that's been in and out of it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like I'll take whatever I can get from that.
Oh,
From that
absolutely.
sort
Jason
of
Jason
guest.
Demo, same thing, right?
Demo. Yep, same thing. Yep,
Dialed in
almost like
from the phone. I remember when we recorded with him, the poor guy, he tried like 5 different things, tried turning
5
the
different
yeah,
configurations
try,
to try
yeah,
and get
turn the camera on, turn the camera off, try dialing in, try doing this, try doing that. And,
yeah.
you know, just testimony to how good of a guy he is. He could have told us, you know what, y'all can go pound sand.
Sounds
I'm going to watch cartoons or something. Right. And
yeah.
it was, it was not that. So he stuck with us. But yeah, sometimes we just have to take what we can get and bear with us, folks. Try to look past it if you can, or listen past it, and listen to what they're saying, because the value of the content, I hope, is far more, valuable to you than the price of admission.
Quality of
And
the audio. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So Mark, we also had a couple of comments about episode length of play. What do you think about the feedback there?
I think it looks pretty good. I mean, for the majority, everybody seemed to be happy with it, and some people even mentioned they wanted it longer,
Yeah, I
right?
was
And that's
happy to
something
hear
we've
that.
always been concerned about, is the length, is that we're too long.
Yeah.
And I've never really understood that, because the biggest podcast in the world's Joe Rogan.
Mhm.
He's consecutively 3-hour shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't bother me at all. I take a lot of 15-minute drives, and I'll take a lot of 15-minute listens, and I start right back up right where I was. It's like, it doesn't bother me at all. So I've never been too concerned about it. I know a couple people early on had mentioned stuff about it being too long, but it's
Mhm.
like, hey, the content's the content. Like, if you think it's too long, then you're probably, I don't know, you should, should maybe try and find your content elsewhere, in a different
Right.
way.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
trying to get, life-saving skills quickly,
Yeah.
right? You have to pay the man at some point,
That's
and
right.
it takes time to learn this stuff.
Yeah. That's exactly right. You gotta put in the time for it, and
Mhm.
that's very important. Yeah, I was encouraged by that one. The especially the few folks that said, "I wish the shows were longer." Uh, that tells me that they're consuming the material in the way that podcasts are meant to be. You can hit the pause button. You can go do something else for a while and come back and resume it. And I like that. So I think that
Mhm.
I can get that monkey off my back. We're not going to really worry about duration of the show in the future, unless the guest is just like, hey, we've been going at this for 3 hours. I need to wrap it up, right?
Like Pincus.
Yeah, man, because he was ready to get the heck out of there and go hit the town or something,
In the
wasn't he?
beginning, David, you go, we want to be respectful of your time, and hopefully have you out of here by 10 o'clock. He's like, damn right you will.
Yeah, he's like, no, you don't understand. You will have me out of here by
Not
10
kidding.
o'clock, or it'll just be you guys talking. So, yeah. Oh man. Oh hey,
No, yeah, I'm mostly sure, certainly, that was Rob just being a wise ass.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it was just funny.
Oh, it was. It was. Yeah. And I go back to, even if he meant an iota of that, it's purely his prerogative, because he's giving his time to us for free. And
Yep.
I completely get it and respect it. Absolutely. So oh my God, my allergies. Interesting topics and guests. We asked about that, and folks seem to generally think that we're doing an excellent job there. That's the way they
Yeah.
rated us. On the score, we were rated as excellent there. So my only ask for everybody else is just give us some continuous feedback and suggestions on that, though, right? We, again, the show's about you, the listener. We need to know what you want us to talk about. And that is a perfect use of the feedback form on shootersnation.com, or shoot us a message on Facebook or whatever. But let us know. We had a listener contact me last week, and he was asking specifically about a certain uh, type of show that I think parents of children are really going to be interested in, and we're going to do it. I've made some emails and phone calls this week, and we've got a couple of things that we might be able to do there. Might end up being more than one show, and might even cover several different bases. So that's what we need, though. We want people to tell us exactly what they want us to talk about, so we can talk about it and
Yeah.
get those guests on here. Likable hosts. No one said they hated us. That's good.
Nobody said that.
No one said that. That was nice. If they thought it, they held it in reserve and didn't let that one rip. So I was glad to see that.
3 of you rascals only clicked good though instead of
I wonder who those 3 are, and I wonder, is it like we're collectively good, or is Mark better than me, or I would say so, probably. My son came in here the other night and grabbed a microphone, and he's seen me do podcasting enough now that he got it, pulled it up to his mouth, and started babbling. And I thought, yep, you know what? That sounds better than me already. So I'm pretty self-aware when it comes to that.
Click record.
Right? Yeah, I videoed it. I may have to put that on Instagram or something, the video, and the listeners can vote and say, yeah, put the kid on the episode, get rid of yourself. So. So the next question we asked was, how interesting are these discussion topics to you? And there were some clear winners in that one. Really, there were some clear winners. There were some clear losers, and then there was a lot of material that just kind of came, in the middle, strong. But the clear winners: self-defense and expert interviews. I was glad to hear that.
Yep.
The least popular category, Mark, were you kind of surprised to see that one? The hunting. Yeah. And I guess maybe that speaks to our demographic.
Yeah.
And we actually have a comment about hunting from one of the listeners in the forum where they could just give us their thoughts.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
More hunting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the guy wanted to hear more hunting. Right.
So.
And so the least popular category was hunting, but then we also had somebody come out and just say, hey, I'd like for you to talk about this some. So I don't know what we'll do there.
Answering listeners rated to number 3, though, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. Answering listener questions. We need to do that again soon, which I guess that's kind of sort of what we're doing tonight.
That's cool, because I actually really like those.
Yeah. Yeah. I've already got an idea forming in my head, and it kind of goes around NRAAM, right? So we'll mention that in another bit here on the show, but the NRA Annual Meeting is coming up, and so listener, right now, I'll be thinking about that. We want to hear from you in particular, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. Another strong interest was training. People want to know more about self-study and instructor-led training. The self-study training is an interesting one, because I don't know that we've really talked about that a whole heck of a lot. I'm thinking, folks, tell me, email us, tell us what you're asking for there. When I think about self-study, I'm thinking about dry fire practice and going to the range and doing certain drills, right?
Or our range routines.
Yeah. We did talk about the range routines once. We even had a listener question, also asking us to talk about home security from a technological perspective. And I had posted on Instagram kind of a funny selfie where I was up on a ladder changing out a security camera, and is this stupid? I was being kind of dumb, and as the security camera is the thing that took the picture, and the listener was like, hey, why don't you guys talk about that? And so glad to do it at some point. It'll bore some of you to tears, but we can talk about it a little bit. Yeah. The hunting thing, though, I kind of want to take a swing at that though soon. I'd like to talk about how folks can get involved in hunting, in their area.
Yep.
and we'll just give it a go and see what happens. The fact that it
Yeah.
was least popular doesn't necessarily mean I don't want to do it. I think,
Right.
yeah,
No, no.
I kind of wonder if maybe we could do it our own way that would make it more interesting than some of the other material out there about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
What kind of hunting is popular up there with you guys? Mostly deer or?
Whitetail deer, bird, turkey,
Okay. Yeah.
moose, but it's a lottery to get a moose permit.
No kidding. Yeah.
Moose would probably be the most popular if it wasn't a lottery, but there isn't enough of them to
Right.
manage. Whitetail deer is definitely probably the most popular. Then turkey would be my guess. Then bird,
Yeah.
which would be like pheasant, partridge, that sort of thing. We don't do like doves up here,
Right.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, and I'm pretty well versed. My father was a instructor for the state of New Hampshire for hunter safety for many
Oh,
years.
cool. Yeah.
I'm the vice president of a local outing club called the Enfield Outing Club. We're a small firearms training archery gun range here in my town that we pull people from 6-8 towns away because there isn't a lot of ranges up in our way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty well versed in getting going and things to do and things to look for, type of equipment to use, what not to use, that sort of thing. And I've, hunted New Hampshire my whole life since I was a little kid walking through the snow up to my knees with my dad and my little 410 single shot shotgun. You know what I mean?
Got started early. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Whitetail deer down here, turkey, bird hunting, pheasant, dove, duck, goose, I guess. So yeah, be interested in seeing it. Now, I got a future son-in-law just scored a giant turkey on opening day back in Kentucky. So big picture on Facebook of that, and apparently, according to my daughter, that's kind of like his thing. He like 5 years in a row now or so, he's gone out and busted a giant bird on opening day. And so
I've never turkey hunted.
have you not? I've not either. I mean, I know folks that do, and it sounds like it's a lot of sitting or leaning up against a tree, waiting for the birds to come in and calling them in. So, yeah, I'm interested in it. Yeah, it's something that I don't know anything about, so it'd be kind of fun to get somebody on here to talk about it with us and learn something.
Yeah.
So the next question we asked: overall, what are we doing right? I think we'll just take some turns reading the comments here. Right? You want to do the first one?
What page are we on here?
This is
I'm
we're
looking
scrolling
at
down.
I'm looking at the PDF. So sorry.
Oh, are you really? Okay, yeah, sorry. Well, I don't know that you'll see it there. You might want to look at the shared doc.
What are we doing right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the content is excellent. The guests are top notch, and I really enjoyed the host. Maybe hunting for newbies segment.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, sorry. We just talked about it. I didn't ask you to read it just because it was like the thing we talked about. So yeah, way to go, me. Yeah. So we appreciate that. We definitely the content being excellent. The guests, again, we've been very fortunate over the past year to man, I think, we've kind of like just hit it out of our league really with some of these guests. And I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful to the guests for coming on and giving us a chance. But that kind of comes back to the listeners also, right? If we didn't have such good listeners and folks weren't talking about it and sharing it with their friends and our listener demographic numbers are good and strong, some of these experts, they've got, man, they got only 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, right? So they have to use their time wisely and they're sharing their time with us because we've got a good listener base. So a lot of thanks back to the listeners for that. Another listener said, I like the topics and you guys seem to jive well. That's cool. They don't understand our secret hatred for one another. That's not true at all. So they said some podcasts are like a train wreck of everyone talking over each other, but you guys don't seem to have that problem. I enjoy the bourbon talk, even though I don't drink at all. So that was all from one person.
I can't tell you how many times I wanted to interrupt you and talk over you while you were saying that.
I'm the worst at it. So that would have been fun, right? If you'd done it just then, it would have been pretty hysterical. But I am the worst at this. I have to admit that I listen to the podcast when I'm editing it, and sometimes I just think, David, shut up and let the guest talk. And I think that the thing that annoys me about me is you'll hear me occasionally go, right,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, right. And
Yeah.
it's like that adds no value to the conversation. If I just kept my mouth shut, you'd hear the guest. So, confession, I sometimes delete that off of the audio so that you never hear me doing it. But I'm the worst. I am absolutely the worst at it.
And I'm the nodder. I'm nodding.
Right?
And,
Yeah.
you know,
We need like
nodding. It's like, Mark, I see you're nodding there.
we need a sound, right? We need a sound that, like, when you nod, it just plays a sound on the podcast, and everybody goes, "Oh, that's the nodding sound," right?
Mark nod.
The Mark nod. But yeah, you do. I'll look over and I'm like,
Little bell on the rim of my hat. So you can make-
like, like you put on the collar of a cat or something. Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, I occasionally I do. I'm like, "Hey, Mark, I see you kind of nodding there. You got a thought?" You know. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm the worst at this, and I think I'm that way in conversations. My wife would tell you that it probably just annoys her to death that I'll jump in, I'll start talking before she finishes, and
Mhm.
yeah, I'm terrible at that.
Mhm.
Well, that's a very kind guest. Thank you for saying that about us. We enjoy the bourbon talk also. You don't have to drink to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I think we drink the bourbon because we enjoy the craft of it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we've talked about that before. It's
Yeah.
the
I've
artistry.
honestly, while we're right here though, I've been on a little bit of a tequila kick lately.
Have you been? Huh?
Really good tequila.
Yeah.
Just sipping warm, neat tequila.
Right?
And it's
Huh?
kind of, I'm not saying it's taken over, but
Yeah.
it's been a nice little twist of things.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so I know you guys also do beers and wines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we pretty much do everything.
yeah. I've
My wife Kristen, she barely drinks at all. She likes like a little taste now and then, but I'll make her a drink, and if she gets half of it down, then we're lucky. The rest gets dumped when she's decided she's done.
Right.
But I'm too frugal to wasting booze like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I like it too much, so I make sure to finish mine. That's for sure.
Well, when some of these
But,
things cost as much as they do, you don't want to pour them down the drain.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's thirsty kids in Africa that
Yeah. Yep.
you got to think.
But yeah, the tequila's been pretty good lately. And then I went to a private birthday party for a mutual friend of ours, Robin, and he held it at a distillery here in New Hampshire. And I'll give a little shout out to these guys. Go check them out. I'm actually wearing the t-shirt right now.
You are, yeah.
Copper Cannon Distillery, and it's down Keene, New Hampshire area, and they do rum, and the rum is very good.
No doubt. I like rum.
I've not been a big rum guy.
Have you not?
Life.
Yeah.
Like when I first started drinking, I was like the 21-year-old drinking Captain and Cokes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
but that's like the extent of my rum drinking.
Sure.
Or in like some fruity drink when you're on a beach somewhere. You know what I mean? But that's been the end of it. But this stuff, like I've been drinking with an ice cube.
Oh yeah.
And nothing else, just sipping like good rum.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's really good. When we were there, we were at the distillery and got to drink it right out of the still. You know what I mean? Like taste it right out of the still
like
while they
warm.
were yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Warm, crystal
yeah.
clear. Like it was like, wow, it was like fire. It was awesome. But he gave us a whole tour, and then he brought us back to this back room where there was about 30 different barrels.
Oh wow.
Like,
very cool.
And he goes, that's the bourbon.
Very cool.
So he just started. He's a guy my age, you know, and he's just trying to make it. He's got a full-time gig, and he's got this beautiful, like, check it out on online, this beautiful big post and beam barn that he basically built with a beautiful concrete floor and a bunch of like really cool woodwork inside and a lot of copper, because it's Copper Cannon Distillery.
Yeah.
So he's only like 3 or 4 years in, but the bourbon was one of the first things he did. And he's like, it's just too soon. You can't do it. But the rum, like they're making rum now because he can actually get some revenue off it because it doesn't need to, be in the barrel for so long.
Right.
But he's got, of course, New Hampshire, a lot of maple trees, but he's got a maple rum.
Oh man, that's gotta be good.
It's really good.
That's gotta be good.
It's super good. So, tangent, but Copper Cannon Distillery, go check them out. Give them a follow on social media. Super, super humble young man that's just doing what he loves, and that's
that's
like
cool.
making wholesome and doing gun stuff. He's distilling booze, so it's pretty cool.
Those two, the two topics overlay so well because, the firearms industry and the alcohol industry are both so heavily regulated. The government is just knee deep in both of them.
By the same agents.
Right. Yeah. The same agents. And there's a defiant spirit that goes along with either, right? I mean, in order to be
Mhm.
really into firearms manufacturing or into alcohol production, you've got to feel like giving a middle finger back to the man and just saying, "Look, I'll pay your taxes, I'll let you regulate me, but I'm making this stuff." So
Yeah.
I admire that.
Now that I think about it, listeners, if it's something you'd be interested in, I know we could get Blake. He's the owner. I
Yeah.
know Blake would be happy to do a show with
Oh, that'd
us.
be
Like
fun.
do like a bourbon and rum show or something like that.
Right.
Just talk about different stuff and talk about the process and his growing pains and getting into it and that kind of stuff. And what he's experienced, I know he would do that. He'd
That
be
would be
all over it.
fun. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
It could be kind of like the ATF episode minus the T and the F. Right. So
Yeah.
that'd be fun. That'd be a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
So
I,
yeah, if you guys want to hear something like that, shoot us an email and let us know. I'd be interested
that would
to
be
do.
neat. I'd
That'd be
like
cool.
that. I think we should do it.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, rum is so much fun. I mean, that's like a good drink during the summer. A glass of
Mhm.
rum with an ice cube in it like that, and just
Mhm.
to just enjoy it. It's
Yeah.
which I mean, I'm equal opportunity. I'll drink dark beer all summer long too, and people kind of turn their nose up at that. But
Mhm.
yeah, right now is kind of a neat time of the year for certain like limited allocation whiskeys. Those things are out there in the stores, and here in Middle Tennessee, people are going nuts trying to find that stuff. And you see these
Mhm.
bottles on the secondary market, and they're bringing 2 to 3 times their shelf price, which
Yeah.
is just silly. So
Yeah.
it's neat though, and there's a lot of the enthusiasm and the fanaticism of the people that are very dedicated to tracking down and trying all these different whiskeys and bourbons is on par with the fanaticism and the dedication that firearms enthusiasts have for tracking down certain guns, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's really neat. There's a lot
Yeah.
more in common there than people realize, and I think that was kind of fun to see that come up in the listener
Mhm.
questions. So pretty neat. Let's see. What else did they say here? Some podcasts are like a train wreck. Yeah, talking over each other. Glad you said that you don't think that we have that problem. Thank you. Even though I counted the number of times subconsciously, I said yeah and as you were talking just then, Mark, and I just want to kick myself for it. So
I don't even notice this.
let's see. Another comment from the listeners was great topics, great smees.
Yeah.
Had somebody say that they liked the friendliness of the hosts and the joking, which is good because you're stuck with that. We're who we are.
I cannot not do it.
No, I
Even
mean,
when it's appropriate, I just can't.
oh yeah. I mean, and if you're not yet a member of the Facebook Shooters Nation community, you need to be because it's probably more heavy on memes than it is firearms content.
Content. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, man, I will, at my age, I'll be 47 this summer, I guess. If I haven't grown up now, I'm not gonna. So it is what it is. Um, let's see. Oh, you know what? Hey, why don't you the next one? This is something that I think goes back to the genesis of this whole show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to?
The down to earth discussions are great, and there isn't, an overbearing tactical approach to firearms topics that a lot of other podcasts have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Man, I was excited to see that one.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we talked about in the very, very beginning. What we wanted to do was a show that
Mhm.
was relatable to the everyman and the every woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, that feels good to me that we're not overbearingly tactical.
Realistic and functional
Yeah.
theories and ideas and products. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I liked that. So whoever you were, thank you for that one. That made my day to see it. I actually read that one out loud to my wife, and I was like, "Hey, listen to this." And she's kind of looked at me. She said, "Did they say that you're not overbearingly cool?" I'm like, "No, no, no. That's not what they said." Right.
Well, full disclosure, that one was me.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Okay. Well, yeah. We totally could have seeded this with some answers, but yeah. Oh well. But yeah, thanks. The fact that we're not overbearingly tactical, I appreciate that. I kind of think of myself as being barely tactical. I'm like, I'm barely, very barely tactical. So
Mhm.
let's see here. We also had somebody say that we're knocking it out of the park and that they just wish that the episodes could be longer and told us to keep up the good work. So thank you for that. Um, and then we had kind of a smattering of small, quick comments. Super professional, better than most. Thank you. Everything sounds great. Um, Great. Thank you. I hope that's wonderful. Quality content. And then someone said everything. We're doing everything right, which
Yeah.
that guy tipped into the bourbon kind of early when he answered
Yeah.
that survey. So thank you, sir. We question your judgment. I don't think we're doing everything right, but I'm glad you think so. Uh, I think we definitely have some room to improve on some things, and we'll just try to do it. Every time we do it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Next question. We asked overall, what are we doing wrong? And man, this is always fun, right? And I
Yeah.
hope that they weren't going to hold back. It's like, take off the kid gloves, let us have it. If we suck, tell us we suck. If you hate my voice, tell me you hate my voice. Uh, and so the first one, now I'm going to read this one, I guess. It said,
Yeah. Because I'm reading the next one.
yeah, it said, need to get the ladies back on. Seriously, let them take over 2 to 4 times a year at least. Not hating on David or Mark, just feel like their perspective helps me help the women in my life, or have them start their own podcast. I'd love to have something I can get my wife and daughters and every other woman in my life to listen to from a uniquely female perspective. And I agree completely. Hopefully you heard the episode last week with Noelle from the Concealed Carry Woman.
Mhm.
Uh, that has been a good episode. Listener response to that's been good. The statistics on that episode are really good. That one got a lot
Mhm.
of listens. We thank Noelle for sharing the podcast with her followers. Really appreciate that. But yeah, man, I agree. Right. I've got a lot of women in my life. Got my wife, my mother-in-law. I've got my two daughters. I've got a sister-in-law, and I've got a lot of women that I'm surrounded by that are strong women, very strong-willed. But
Mhm.
I want them to be safe and have a means to protect themselves. And frankly, women like to hear from other women about this stuff.
Yeah.
So um, we're definitely going to do it. I don't
Mhm.
know if the ladies are going to start their own podcast, but I'm willing to turn over the mic to them anytime we can. So
Mhm.
I would hope that in the year ahead, you hear from the women, some of the women, Sandy, Kristen, some guest SMEs. We want to do that at least 2 to 4 times more this year. Mark,
Mhm.
I'd like to see them do it once a month if we could at all, but
Mhm.
we'll just have to see. We'll kind of get into that here in a minute when we start talking about some improvements to the show. But anyway, any thoughts on that one about the female listeners and females or women centric episodes? Or
No, I mean it's a fast growing market within this industry right now, and I think it's a great thing. I think that I would absolutely love to give the ladies out there that need the info as much as we can possibly feed them.
yeah, I agree. It makes me better as a male shooter, and a man in this industry to hear from the ladies, and for those of you that are listening, for you to give us feedback on what you want to hear. I absolutely will be cruising the conference at the NRA annual meeting this upcoming week, and I am going to have a serious focus on good gear and firearms and you know women presences there, because I want to talk to them and I want to get these folks on the show. Uh, you know, it's not a secret. We're not the only podcast out there that you can listen to. There are some podcasts done, and hosted by the ladies. And
Mhm.
maybe what we'll do soon is we'll kind of mention some of those. I'm going to try to listen to a few of them and just see which ones I could, recommend based off of similar content or approaches and stuff like that. And it's
Mhm.
not like I'm going to sit back and give you the David blessed list of female podcasters or something like that. But I'll sit down and listen to them with my wife, and then we'll talk about it and try to get some of the stuff out there. But yeah, in the meantime, for for crying out loud, go out and search through iTunes and Google Play and Spotify for podcasts dealing with women and guns. They're out there. Trust me, they are. And I've listened to some of them already, and they're good. So, but we'll definitely make the mic available to them here on this show as often
Yeah.
as we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this next one, now I see what it is. I'm reading ahead in the notes. I see why you wanted this one. Okay, Mark, why don't you take the next this question?
I am having a hard time even saying this. Too much Glock fandom. ... There are other brands. Period.
Yeah.
If there are, I'm not aware of them. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Mark's oblivious to the other brands. He sees them come across occasionally as he sells them, but that's about it. Right.
Continuing, he says, also, if I'm honest, at times there seems like there's too much leaning on the SMEs. I can hear that cool operator Shaggy McWarrior is up to at several different places. I do think you guys pull some good info out of the interviews, though. What I can't get in the other places is your take on things.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
I totally get it. But one thing that what I like about the SMEs is I like being able to have the conversation afterward about what we took away.
Yeah. That's gonna be a thing moving forward.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I like the takeaway conversations.
Yeah.
And there are things that the SMEs know that I don't know, right? And this is why we call them the experts, and this is why we have them. So as we're learning and we're able to, not only give you the content on that episode, hopefully I can retain some of this and forward it on to you 30 episodes from now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a constant evolving, train of knowledge that we are able to, as long as we can retain it enough and retain enough of it and repeat it, and, continue to give it. So I think SMEs are definitely an important part. But I appreciate, it's kind of a compliment as well. So I appreciate that. The whole Glock thing, I think is, I don't understand. But
I don't understand. I mean, words are coming out. I just don't understand them.
I can read it, but it doesn't. It's like almost looks like German. I don't know.
I see a word I recognize. I see Glock. Oh man. Well, so I get it. I really get it. And Mark, you probably saw on Instagram this past week. After the responses to the survey came in, I started kind of posting pictures of non-Glock handguns, right? And I was using the hashtag not a Glock. And honestly, you and I both have guns that are not Glocks.
Yeah.
I've got one in front of me right now. It's an M&P M2.0 compact, and I just picked up another M&P M2.0 full size after having sold one previously. And I got the compact and I was like, oh, I don't need the full size anymore. And I got rid of it. And then I realized actually I shoot the full size better. And so, I've got several that I rotate through. And the problem is this. And I read an article online earlier today about the Glock 19, and it was a blog post, and the guy was like, why the Glock 19 is the concealed carry handgun that all others are measured against. And he made a comment that was, and I'm paraphrasing, it's kind of like, look, it's not the best, it's not the most accurate, it's not the most well built or whatever. I mean, he kind of listed all these things, but he said, but at the same time, it does all these things consistently better than a lot of others do. And that kind of resonates with me. If the ergos aren't perfect for everybody, but it's a great starting point. And the Glock 19 is just
well, you know what it does have that trumps everybody, in my opinion, is reliability.
Yeah, you're right. It does. And sometimes they mess up.
I don't know that there's a more reliable system that I've ever used.
It's reliable because it's simplicity. The simplicity of it is genius. It is really genius. And so a lot of its reliability comes from that. It also has a very good company backing it up. Glock, in Smyrna, Georgia will fix pretty much anything. Right. And so they've got really good customer service.
Yep.
Smith & Wesson has really good customer service. I've used Smith
Mhm.
& Wesson on 1 or 2 occasions. I've never had to use Glock's customer service for anything on
I
a
have.
gun. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not. Now, I've got friends that have, but
Uh-huh.
I haven't.
I have. It was stellar. Absolutely
Yeah,
stellar.
yeah. I mean, that's what I hear. I mean, if
And
you're in,
it was a questionable issue too. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if they're gonna play with this.
right.
Yeah, and they're like, yep, no problem. We'll replace this. No problem. And it was a whole frame.
Oh
And
yeah,
it wasn't a trigger bar. This is a whole frame on a gun.
yeah.
And yep, no problem.
Oh,
I mean,
I've seen stories of guys that tried their hand at stippling a gun themselves,
mhm,
and yeah, I think maybe the most common mistake is they don't put a mag wrapped with a couple wraps of tape in there before they start
mhm,
hitting it with the wood burning tool, and it deforms the mag tunnel a little bit, and the mag doesn't drop
mhm,
free. Blah blah blah. And Glock is like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. I mean, it may cost them a little bit, but they'll do it. And
mhm,
I think that really what they end up doing is they sell them another frame, right, at a
mhm,
steeply discounted price, but
mhm,
hey, for a mistake that you caused yourself, they could easily just tell you to go fly a kite.
mhm,
So, and I've heard stories about folks that drive to Smyrna, Georgia, and they take their gun in, and like for a free service, Glock will do a tune up on it. They'll go through it and check it out, clean it, whatever else. You leave it with them, come back, pick it up, that kind of stuff. And so I don't know if they still do it for free or not, but don't quote me on it. Don't go roll into Smyrna, Georgia, and tell Glock, hey, David on Shooters Nation said you'll do this for free because A, they don't know who I am, and B, that's not the way I want to be introduced to them.
Hey folks, David here. Did you know that there is more to the Shooters Nation than this podcast? Mark and I are working hard to knit together a community of well-informed, responsibly armed citizens who are well prepared to face the worst days of their lives. We would like to invite you to join us and the other listeners on our various social media outlets and become an active part of the Shooters Nation community. You can find us on Instagram as @ShootersNationRadio. And if Facebook is your thing, you can find us there at facebook.com/ShootersNation. While you're there, be sure to click on the link to join our Facebook Shooters Nation community. And as always, you can head over to shootersnation.com for more listener resources.
Hey, David on Shooters Nation said you'll do this for free because A, they don't know who I am, and B, that's not the way I want to be introduced to them, right? But yeah, who said that? Yeah, but yeah, I mean, they are good at dealing with the customers. So anyway, I get it. You're going to hear a lot about Glocks on here because they're the most popular freaking handgun in the United States, if not
Yep.
the world. And Jordan
Yep.
might disagree. Jordan might, come back on the show and tell us actually it's CZ, right? But or some variant of the CZ. But
Yep.
the Glock 19, like it or not, it's kind of a staple, and it's going to get talked about a lot. So
Mhm.
yeah. Um,
Man, I've been taking some serious heat in the shop.
have you about what?
Yeah, about because kind of like the running thing is I pick on Corey and the P320 on
Oh
regular
yeah,
basis.
yeah.
And now he just shrugs his shoulder and he says, "Good enough for Boone."
Right,
And he said
right.
it so many times, like, damn it.
Yeah. Hey, there's a
Moving
good
on.
good chance we're gonna have Boone back on the show too. So, yeah, that'll be fun. I doubt he will have carried a different gun since then either. So it's probably still a 320. Um,
Hopefully.
I looked at one of the P320 X, the new X Compact.
Mhm.
And I think the thing that I would have to change about that gun really quickly is the beaver tail. That beaver tail sticks out like a mile. And
Yeah, especially for appendix carry individuals.
yeah,
Just
or
like some
even
builder.
me. I've got the dad bod going, and I think that thing's gonna jab me in the fat roll too much. So not sure about that one. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, the Glock, I get it. And um the other thing I think that I wanted to mention about this particular comment, the guy said, I can hear what cool operator Shaggy McWarrior is up to at several places, but we do pull good info out of the interviews. I appreciate that. Uh, we've had the SMEs comment afterwards, after we were done recording, several times now, that they really like the questions that we ask things that
Mhm.
other people don't talk about, and they
Mhm.
liked it. I think I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I think we got feedback from Bill and Boone, kind of
Yep.
similar to that, right?
Yep.
So that felt
Yeah,
good.
there was a mention immediately after we were chatting about holsters offline.
Yeah.
And he said, great interview. It was nice having some different questions. They were really good or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, especially with a well-known subject matter expert that's making the circuit, you're going to hear a lot of the same questions asked of those guys. And we try really hard to sit down and brainstorm questions that maybe they won't have answered somewhere else, or we ask them in a different way. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Next statement that we got from a listener was, I love the longer run times. I still miss the weekly episodes. We talked about the longer run times. We're going to talk about the weekly episodes here in a minute. So hang on to that thought. Someone else was really kind and they said, there's not enough of you or products like you. My family probably disagrees. They probably think there's too much of me at times. So, but we appreciate that. Let's see here. I definitely wanted to address this one. Listener said there have been a couple of episodes that there was a high-pitched sound when the guests were speaking. I assume that this is their mic quality, but I simply couldn't listen after I heard it. Man, I am sorry. I know exactly which sound you're talking about. We've heard it. It's that kind of high-pitched squawk sound. And I have tried, whenever we hear it on the recording, to make a note of it on a notepad and kind of jot down the minutes and the seconds that it occurred into the recording, and then I try to go back and edit it later. If you've heard it at all, you heard one of them that I missed, or it was right in the middle of a statement that I hoped you could listen around and get to it. I think that is a byproduct of the web conferencing system that we use for most of these interviews. Sometimes it might be the mic that the guest is using, and we've talked about why we can't be super picky there, but I will try my hardest to make sure that doesn't happen again. There are certain things that I can do in our editing software to maybe look for that and identify it and squelch it when it occurs. But yeah, I'm sorry. I hope that you'll give those episodes another listen. And I tell you, if you do me a favor, right? Whoever sent this question or this statement in, if you can let me know what episode it was on that you heard it, I can actually go and try to re-edit that episode and put out a cleaner copy of it and just replace what's out there on iTunes. Now, some of the services like Google Play and YouTube and stuff like that, I might not be able to replace those because kind of like once that horse is out of the barn, we never get it back. They make their own copy of it. But on iTunes and on our website, I can definitely edit that again and try to get rid of it. So just shoot me a message. You can email me, david@shootersnation.com. Tell me what episode it was. And if you know kind of like how far into the episode it was or what we were talking about, that will help me find it. But I'll be glad to try to edit it and get rid of it. That way you and the other listeners can have a better copy of it. So I'm glad to do it. I apologize. I missed it if it's still in there. But we've heard it. We know exactly what you're talking about. This next one, I think it's for you, Mark.
Not enough of you or products like you.
That's not for you. No, that's not the one I was thinking about. I mean, maybe that's right, but it's another Glock comment. I can understand, Mark. There's really not enough Mark in this.
Did we skip that one?
No, I think we may have skipped that one.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, you see which one I'm talking about.
If Glock was a person, you guys would marry them.
I don't know.
I mean, it depends.
I don't know. I mean, if Glock was a person, it'd be kind of a short, stodgy, blocky Austrian, right? It's not really my speed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hard to say.
It's hard to say. I get why that one cracked me up. I laughed when I saw that one. If Glock was a person, you guys would marry him. Okay. Guilty, I guess. I don't know. Again, you can't deny the reliability and the simplicity of them. I don't know. That was funny. One guest said that there was nothing he could think of for us to change, but it'd be great to have more hangouts. I kind of agree with that. The hangouts were fun.
Absolutely.
You know, the hangouts, maybe more opportunities to do that in the summer. It seems like in the winter months it's easy to do because you're just kind of hanging out inside the house anyway. The weather's crappy and you can't get outside, and why not do some hangouts? But yeah, I think we can try to do that at least once or twice more. During the summer months. Um, I can tell you a personal challenge for me on that. Mark, you too. I mean, you got family, you got other things going on, you got wife and kids, and same here. But some evenings for me right now, I'm full time job. Mark, you've got 2 full time jobs.
Yep.
I've got full time school as an adult. Going back to school for a graduate degree is just a terrible idea. But I mean, it's really not. But it sucks on the free time, so it can be challenging. But if we can plan it far enough in ahead, I think I would look forward to that break from all those other things to do a hangout. So we'll try to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I still chuckle at we had the one guest that was hanging out with us during the holidays. And I mean, it was like nearly 3 hours long. And as we were hanging up, the thing, I heard the guy, he's like, "Oh my God, that was 3 hours." So it's like, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
Hey, you can leave anytime. That's the cool thing about a
Right, yeah.
hangout. You come and go. It's not a scheduled thing. You just kind of hang out. and leave
I
whenever.
think he told me later, he's like, what I meant was, I can't believe that was 3 hours. I'm like, well, that's what we
Yeah.
heard. So anyway, all right. And another one about audio. This guy said, and I say guy, it could have been one of the ladies. I apologize. I'm colloquially using guy to mean anybody, but they said sometimes it's hard to hear your guests, but I hear both hosts just fine. Again, I mean, that really is kind of, we're at the mercy of the audio on the other side. I can do some stuff with the software to make that better, and I'm always tweaking things and trying new things. Spent some money again on software to make that a little bit better for you. Hopefully the past few episodes we haven't had that problem, but the challenge is this: if you think about a scale of 1 to 10, Mark's audio levels are an 8, mine are an 8, but the guests are like a 2 or a 3. In order to boost their signal up, you also get a lot of noise boosted with it, and that can be a challenge, right? So we'll try to work on that. Really, we will. Let's see here. So the next question that we had for the listeners was, if you could change any one thing about the show, what would it be? First one, I guess right now, nothing. I think the change in schedule is perfect, and the show just gets better and better the longer you guys do it. Thank you. We appreciate that. Mark, the next one, what do you think about that one?
More reviews of relevant products.
Yeah.
That's great. I love talking about products.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You're definitely, I mean, we both like gear, but you kind of got your ear to the ground on that more than I do, naturally, because of what you do. So a lot of times I still find out about new products when everybody else does. So we'll try to work on that. Really, really will.
Absolutely.
And with that, I'm hoping that what you're saying is you want to hear our thoughts on relevant products, and I like to get my hands on new stuff. So glad to talk about it. Have you, thinking about that, have you seen in the wild yet one of the Aimpoint Acro sites? No?
I have not.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Are you kind of looking forward to that one, or?
I think that the RMR has proven itself to be enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
The bigger benefit is probably durability.
Yeah.
But the RMR is pretty dang durable. And moisture getting on the inside of your lens. And the Acro is not going to have that issue because it's an enclosed system.
Yeah. I saw a picture that Jared Reston posted on Instagram last week, I think it was. And he was standing, it looked like he was like standing in his car door, and the gun was just covered in rain. And he had an Acro on it. And he's like, guess who didn't have any trouble with their red dot in the rain?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he was at the shooter. what's that event called? The Shooter Symposium, or Shooter Symposium, which is down in the Ranch, Texas.
Okay.
And it was like pouring rain during their classes, and everybody was soaked, and he had the only acro there, I think. Oh, maybe Aaron Cowan did as well. But
yeah, I saw Aaron was posting some pictures of an acro. I think he just got his. He's getting ready to get the agency, the new agency slide that's got the unique mounting system on it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm interested in it. I want to see what it looks like. I'm also interested in that new Hollow Sun. What is it? The 507C?
507C. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing is, Steve Fisher's been raving about that thing for $200, man. That's
Cool.
a rock.
Yeah. I think there's a strong possibility I'll send the slide either for the 509M or that M&P full size off and have it milled so I can put I want to try one of the Hollow Suns on it, you know, for that price. Why not? And it's the same footprint as an RMR, so if it sucks, and I don't think it's going to at all, but if it does, I can always pull it off and replace it with an RMR. I don't know. It's a toss up. I really kind of like the 509 not having a red dot on it for some reason, just because it's kind of simple and sleek and it's light and it's smaller. But I see what Parker Mountain Machine does on those 509s, and I just want to send it off and have them go to town on it. So
there may not be a 509 tactical coming my way.
Is there? I've been really thinking about the black one. I've got a Glock 21 that I'm trying to move privately, get rid of it, sell it. And so if that sells anytime soon,
I need one.
You need a 21?
Yep.
I've got one.
Because the new Polymer 80 21 size frame just came out, and all of my Glock parts are 9mm.
Well, I've got one. I mean, it's Gen 4 21. Look at this. See, we're right here on Shooters Nation podcast. We're moving some product. So
I gotta have a 3.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sucks.
It's got to be a Gen 3 because the dust cover
came so close.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a 21 I need to move, and if I do, I'm probably gonna pick up a 509 tactical. So black, throw a dot on it of some sort. One of the Parker Mountain Machine comps. See, we just went down a tangent.
Those Parker Mountain Machine comps on the for the 19X are pretty smart.
Are they really?
Because the 19X is very beveled in the in the note.
It's got the
so you put the square comp on, they just look funny.
Sure,
but there's bevels around it.
So it wraps around, forms it.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, the slide on
kind
my
with that too.
The slide on my 19, the Suarez slide on my Gen 4 19 is rounded off like the front of a Gen 5. So it has that same problem. When I put my comp on there from Primary Machine, great comp, but it would snag on stuff because it had that little lip there. So
I'm not to go off on another tangent, but I'm seriously thinking of switching to a 19X.
Are you really? I guess for the length or the shorter length, but the length of the grip, right?
So I see the benefits of shooting with a comp.
Yeah.
It's a much flatter system, but I carry a 17 now.
Yeah. So
if I put a 2-port comp on, I'm longer than a 34.
Right. That's a lot, especially appendix carry.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can get the length down at a 34 because it's the same length as my 17 with a flashlight.
Right.
But when I put the comp on there, man, it's just that another 1.5 inches almost. And it's just like, man, this is bonkers. It's just too much.
Yeah.
So my thought is going with the 19X because I get that full size grip, which I can conceal. I'm 6'6", 255 right now. You know what I mean? I can conceal that very well, easily. I can get the length that I need with a comp on it and still be shorter than a 34.
Yeah. Well, what the 19X or why not the Glock 45, the G45
or the 45? Yeah, the G45.
Yeah. I didn't know if you just like the peanut butter Glock,
I don't really care about the peanut butter Glock. I just thought about that one because it came out first.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing more of them on the secondary market.
Yeah.
Because then that's my style. I buy used Glocks.
Sure.
This doesn't make much sense to me because I tear them apart and tweak them all out anyway. So, I've been seeing many more of the 19Xs pop up on Barnes lists than I've ever seen any 45s. Glock 45s pop up.
I'm kicking myself. There was a guy that sold a G45 locally maybe 2-3 months ago, and he was selling it for $525. And as far as secondary market, low round count, that's actually a really good price from what I could tell. And so I should have jumped on it and I didn't. I've thought about a 17 or a 45 because again, I was telling I said earlier on the episode, I found that I shoot the bigger size guns better. And I don't necessarily, I don't know. I don't necessarily hate the idea of doing it because I think I can conceal it just fine. The longer grip has always been the mental sticking point for me that I didn't want the longer grip. So I thought, oh my God, it's going to have billboards sticking off the side of me. And I'm finding that that's not it. And,
especially with the right cant.
Right. Yeah. The Zulu, I had you guys cut a Zulu for me last summer and, I've been carrying, well, I got it right, here in front of me right now. I've been carrying the compact in it, compact M&P, and it does just fine. But when I shove the full size in there, just because there's enough extra grip, the back hump of it kind of causes the fabric of my shirt to lay slightly differently. My wife says she can't tell that I'm carrying that gun at all, and she can tell a little bit with the compact. So anyway, it's just weird, but yeah. So definitely am thinking more about a full size gun and reviews of relevant products. That's how we got off on that. Agree. We will definitely work that into more episodes.
You see that? I just managed to talk about Glock some more.
That's right. We did.
Cheers.
But I worked in some M&Ps there. So we're in some 509s. So yeah, we went all around there. Let's see. We also had somebody mention again, more wives episodes. Agree. Definitely. Yep. We've talked about that. I'm going to skip the next question. We're going to come back to it. More cowbell.
More cowbell.
I agree. When you have the fever, there is only one prescription, and it is.
You know what you should do, because you have the more advanced studios. You should get one of those rubber button boards.
Oh yeah,
it's effect like in the radio,
right?
Like in a radio
studios.
Right,
a soundboard. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll get some cowbell. I'll try to work some cowbell in there right now for this.
Yeah,
maybe we'll see if it happens. If cowbell appear right here, then I pulled it off. So, let's see. More tips and suggestions to improve shooting skills.
Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Agree. You don't want them from me lately. I went to the range last weekend and was like, oh my God, I forgot how to shoot. And, by the time I was, 100 rounds back into it, I was there again, but it was a reminder to me that shooting is a perishable skill. So
it is not riding a bike.
It is not riding a bike. Bourbon cigars. I like that.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I just ordered a new Cigar Oasis battery powered humidifier for a humidor the other day. My brother was raving about those, and I thought, well, I'll take a chance because my humidor's, it if I don't pay attention to it, it gets kind of dry. I don't smoke a cigar very often, so hopefully that'll help. But anyway, speaking of my brother, you got him off on this whiskey old fashioned kick. I don't know, he and one of our, guys that we hang out with in the private group and stuff, posting pictures of whiskey old fashions lately. So there you go.
Man, they're good.
Yeah. I've never perfected them. I don't know. I'm gonna have to try it again.
Yeah. So the thing about it is I'm not, bragging, but I feel like I've kind of have it perfected. You know what I mean? I know how I like it, and I've never had anybody tell me anything other than it was awesome.
Right.
But the problem is, like, when you get a bunch of guys, like we have our guys weekend retreat up at my cabin, there was 9 of us up there, 8 of us maybe. And it's like, you start making them. I mean, they're not an easy, quick drink to make by any means. It's like, I'm making like number 6 and the first guy's done.
Right.
And he's going to be the glass.
It's better to teach them how to make it.
Whoa.
Right. Teach them how to make it. Just come over here and make your own. Right. So,
right.
Yeah, I think the statement that I saw out of my brother and the other guy was, my brother said, yeah, your recipe was terrible. And it took me 2 or 3 extra drinks just to confirm that. I thought, yeah, right.
I should set up the tripod and get my camera going, and I'll record how I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many different variations. It all depends on where you go. Like in Vegas, when we were just out there for SHOT Show, my buddy Robin and I stop in quite a few different joints, and we will always go for an old fashioned first to see how they do, because we like learning about different ways to do it. Some use lemon, some use this, some use that. There's so many different variations. But real quick, I mean, I use either a single white sugar cube or a little bit of simple syrup.
Yeah.
I use
Yeah.
an orange peel, a filthy cherry, which is the filthy brand, filthy black cherries.
Right.
Then I use the cherry bitters made by Woodford.
Oh, wow. Like the Woodford Reserve Woodford?
Yeah. Yeah.
No kidding.
They have their own bitters line, and it's really good. And then whichever bourbon you want to run with, typically for mixing old fashions, I will very often just go with Bullet.
Okay.
It's,
yeah.
It's really good. It's super reasonable, and you know what I mean. You're not wasting.
You don't feel bad doing that.
Really good sipping bourbon. You know, that's $100 a bottle, $150 a bottle on a mixed drink. You know what I mean? Always feels weird doing that. So, but Woodford, that makes a good old fashioned too. But yeah, often we'll use Bullet because $30 bottle and make a good drink. But yeah,
solid plan. I like it. What was I thinking about just a moment ago as you were going through? Oh, I saw a whiskey old fashioned the other day on I think it's on Instagram of all places, and they were making it with Redbreast Irish whiskey, 12-year Redbreast. And I thought that is actually a really good whiskey to drink by itself. And like you, it's kind of like I feel bad mixing a mixed drink with a good bourbon, but the people that had tried it said it was fan-freaking-tastic. So it got my attention. So I'm going to try it sooner or later. I will try it. Had another suggestion about more firearms innovation, new brands, new options from popular manufacturers. We kind of talked on that, touched on that just a minute ago. With the reviews of relevant products, we agree. And I think the weeks ahead, especially after the NRA annual meeting, we can definitely talk more about some of the new stuff that's coming out to market. All right, so I'm going to read two questions that are kind of similar, not identical, and then Mark will get into some changes.
Sure.
So, had a listener say, "I know that you've recently switched to bi-weekly-ish releases. However, that doesn't even last me 2 days of commute. I do like the product reviews or where there's a discussion around new things of interesting products in the firearms world." Another listener said, "Make it longer. Go back to an episode every week." So that's a good segue into some other things. So first of all, that kind of concludes the listener feedback and the questions and the comments and things. So we appreciate it. Thank you all for filling it out. We'll send that survey out periodically. I'd like to do it maybe twice a year. And just, give us a report card, but don't feel like you have to wait for us to send out the survey. If you're listening and something just really irks you, or you get an inspirational idea, hey, you guys need to do this, hop on over to shootersnation.com and use the feedback link to send us that. And, it goes to both of us. We'll look at it and we'll try to do what we can. So, all right, changes. Again, I mentioned kind of how hectic our schedules are. Mark, 2 full-time jobs for you, family, young family, with the little guy, coming up and you need to, that's important. You got to spend as much time with him as you can, because man, that time goes by quick. Like I said, I've got a daughter that's getting ready to get married, in just a month, and I just can't believe how fast that time has gone by. Right. And so, I've got 2 small kids now as well. Full-time job, full-time school load, it's busy. And so that does make it very challenging to do more than one episode. I'll be very honest, separating it out to once every 2 weeks, I've had mixed feelings about it. On one hand, it's kind of a little janky sometimes to get started back when we start doing an episode. We have to warm up a little bit because I forget how to do this. And I miss hanging out with you. Obviously, this is fun for me. I don't talk guns with a lot of people here locally, it seems like. So this is good. I look forward to this. This is a good time to talk about guns. But it's challenging to fit that in. But I think we talked about this the other day, and Mark, what we kind of decided was there's a chance for us to do an episode on the in between weeks, especially after we've had a SME, after we had a guest subject matter expert. Normally, what we've done in the past is we would record with somebody like Rob Pincus, and at the end of that, we would talk a little bit after we let Rob go or the guest SME go, and we would just give our thoughts and opinions and whatever else. And I don't know about you, but Mark, like, we'll talk about that, and then the next day, and then the next day, and then further into the week, I'm still thinking about that, right?
Sure.
And I think about stuff that I wish we'd already talked about. So, folks, I think what we're going to do is this: we will work an episode in between as often as we can, so that it may not be like 52 weeks a year, and I think periodically we're still going to take some weeks off, maybe for there's summer break coming up or the holidays, or like this week we're getting ready to we're right on the cusp of Easter weekend. It's a big family thing, especially with the kids. And then next week we got in the NRA Annual Meetings, NRAAM. So I don't know. I don't know when our next episode will be. We'll probably record it like the first week of May or something. But anyway, normally we'll try to get an episode worked in between there. And the kind of the theme that I've got is the after action report. It's kind of like when you go to a class, or those of you that have done any time in the military, an AAR is it's just kind of a debrief. And
Yeah.
I think maybe we can do that, right? We'll do a debrief. And that episode may be shorter, but we can at least do a debrief episode between the guest SMEs, and it'll be fun. Yeah, and hopefully that is a compromise between us and the listeners.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a good way for us to pull the good content out and have discussion about it rather than just absorbing it and moving on. We can really break it down and pull out what we think we really took away from it.
Agree. I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure that out. The logistics of it. I don't know if we'll record it the same night, if we'll record it a day or two later, or what. Mark, there might be a way for me even to share the audio, the raw audio, with some of our close friends. We've got Brad, we've got Jordan, we got guys like that. We could share it with them, perhaps, and then have them join us on those in between weeks. To share their thoughts, right? Because we'll have been there in the moment with the expert, but then have these other guys come in and they've listened to it, and maybe they can help us chew the fat, kick it around a little bit more, talk about it,
absolutely,
see what each other's learned. So I'm kind of excited about that. I've missed the weekly things on one hand, but then again, the time off has been very useful. So we'll figure it out. But I think for you listening, thank you. We appreciate the fact that all of you consistently said things about missing every episode, or every week, every episode. Oh, every week there's an episode. I'll get that out sooner or later, right? See, I'm so out of practice with this, I can't even talk. But, we appreciate that. That tells us that you don't hate us, that you like the show, you like the content, that we're a part of your lives. That's a hefty responsibility. We'll try to be very conscientious with that, and continue to do stuff that you want to listen to. And if we can increase the cadence of that, without it, being a giant, investment of time with trying to get the guests on, then we will. That's a big thing, man. And I don't know. I hope that the listeners don't take this the wrong way, but it's a big deal to get some of these guests lined up. And
well, it's not just that; it's coordinating 3 schedules of all busy people.
Right. Exactly that.
Herding cats.
Yeah, it is. And again, the guests, they're donating their time to us, and it's just a big deal. And it's not like it's not like it's a oh my God, look at me, I'm working so hard to do this for you. That's not what I mean. What you said is exactly it. It's all the schedules. Everybody's schedule has to line up, and it's got to be a time when they're not teaching a class or running a business or whatever, right? Dan, Polymer 80 was on.
Or sleeping, because we have to do this in the evening.
Sure.
We both have young kids running around,
right,
and we can't have that in the background, and so on and so forth. So, most nights we're recording at 9 Eastern time.
Right. That's right.
So after these guys have been training or traveling or doing everything, it's pretty challenging to find somebody that's like, okay, yeah, I'll jump on at 9 o'clock and go till 11 with you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Dan McCalman, Polymer 80, the guy's, involved in a manufacturing company, selling products. He's marketing this stuff. He's working for a living. He's got a family, traveling
the world.
Hops on and then hangs out with us and chats with us, and, good dude, and a lot of really good information. That's still one of our higher ranked episodes. But that was time away from his family, and he's with us and hanging out. The episode that we recorded with Noel, that day you had things to do with your family, and family first, man. I mean, that's the thing, and that's why we do this show, is because we want people to go home to their families at night and make it home safely to their families. But family is very important. You had family things going on. Sandy and I recorded that on a Saturday morning,
Yeah.
and Noelle is, I guess she's Pacific time, if I were to guess, or maybe Mountain time. I'm trying to remember where she's at, but it was an hour or two behind us. So, yeah, it was challenging, but we made it happen, and we'll continue to try to make things happen for you guys, because this is what we're doing it for. But anyway, we'll try to get it in there, more episodes, right?
Yep.
Let's see. We talked about the longer episodes, folks asking for that. And I'm, again, glad to hear that people are comfortable with hitting the pause button. We're definitely not going to be making 30-minute long episodes. That's just not going to happen. And of course, the request for more women and women's focused episodes. So glad to make that happen too. Any other thoughts before we move off this subject?
More than anything is I just really appreciate the feedback.
Yeah.
It helps us, because we're not pros at this. We're kind of winging it, flying by the seat of our pants,
Right.
and just doing what we think's best.
Yeah. A year later, we're still very much winging it. Yeah.
Right. So the feedback from us allows us to tailor this to what you, the listener, wants to hear. So, and as we said earlier a couple of times now, that's what it's all about. So if we're not producing something you want to hear, then it's all for nothing. So we appreciate that. Yeah.
Agree. All right. So, I guess just kind of quickly, I don't want to go into this too much because there's not a whole heck of a lot to talk about yet. But the NRA Annual Meeting NRAAM pregame. So just from my perspective, my family and I are heading to Indianapolis, Indiana, for the NRA Annual Meetings next week. We're going to release this show that we're recording right now early, so it will release on Sunday. According to our previous schedule, we're kind of like on an off week. We're going to go ahead and release this one. I want it to go ahead and get out there ahead of NRAAM. No plans to release a show on May the 5th, which is the following Sunday, with NRAAM and Easter. We talked about that a second ago. There's just not a whole lot of time to do that. So our schedule is going to be a little off. But while we're at NRAAM, folks, you can hit us up on Instagram by a direct message. And that's the Shooters Nation Instagram, at Shooters Nation Radio. If you're at the NRA Annual Meeting, let us know. Send me a direct message. I'll be paying attention to that. My wife's going to have it loaded up on her phone. She'll be paying attention to it. We're both going to be posting pictures. Actually, I'm going to give you some details in a second, but I'm probably going to fire up Twitter, and I don't normally do that. Like, I'm not a tweet guy. So
you tweet.
I don't. Yeah, we've got a Twitter account, which is, we never mention it, but we tweet out, or the software tweets out every time we release a new show. But I'll use it there as well, just to kind of when I can and when it seems relevant. I don't know. I mean, I don't tweet, so who knows what that's going to be like. It's going to be ugly probably. But anyway, we'll post pictures of what we can. So, DM us, let me know what you want to see, who you want me to talk to. If you got favorite companies there, there's a post on social media, on Instagram right now, on the Shooters Nation Instagram, where I'm asking you folks to tag your favorite companies in the comments, and just tag them. Let them know that we're going to, call attention to the fact that we're going to be there and we want to talk to them. Because you want us to talk to them, and that would help. I'll say this: subscribe to the Mail Blast mailing list on shootersnation.com. If we can organize a meetup for our listeners while we're there, we'll do it, and we'll announce it there. At the very least, we can probably find some place in the conference center for me and you guys to meet up. Mark, I know you're going to be busy because you got stuff going on, but I'm sure you'll try to if you can.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we'll try to do that. And if I can find a restaurant nearby or whatever, we'll do that too. I can tell you, the restaurants nearby are going to be run over with NRA meeting attendees, right? So that may be challenging. But anyway,
Friday is the easier day.
Is it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, trending. I mean, because most people are working.
Gotcha.
The show's open Friday day. That's typically the easier day. Saturday is kind of like a mob scene.
Yeah, Saturday's gonna be nuts. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna scope it out. The hotel that we're staying in, I think, has a bar. And Indiana's gun laws regarding alcohol are actually pretty friendly. So a lot of states you can't carry where they serve alcohol. Indiana does not do that. You can carry where they serve alcohol as long as you have a Indiana permit or a permit recognized by a state that has reciprocity with them. The other thing that a lot of states don't allow is for a person to have a beverage, while they're carrying, and that is a very touchy subject for a lot of people. Not going to ask you what you feel about it. I'm not going to tell you what I feel like about it. But if you're responsible and you're armed and you don't care to disarm, Indiana does not have anything on the books prohibiting you, from what I saw. So go confirm that. There are websites. Indiana's own government has a website for their gun laws. There's other gun law websites out there like USA Carrier and whatever else, but go confirm it for yourself. I'm not giving you any legal advice or suggestions on what you can do other than go research it yourself. What I saw indicated that you could do that if you wanted to. Again, the impetus, the burden is completely on you to be absolutely responsible. So anyway, and if nothing else, we can meet up for a cup of coffee, right? So yeah. Twitter, I mentioned that a minute ago. That's an odd thing. Don't really talk about Twitter much. You can follow us on Twitter before the show so that you can communicate, and we're at shooters_nation. I wish all of our social media tags were consistent. Yeah, but it's a pain. But again, we don't normally use Twitter much, but I'll try to do it more there during NRAAM. And if you tweet us, and tag us, I'll have it set on my phone to alert me, and I'll try to stay in contact with the listeners that are there at the show as much as I can. Mark, what about you? Anything about NRAAM?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just SHOT Show is kind of an S show for me. I had 39 meetings in 4 days. I think it ended up being so. And I don't know if the listeners, I've never really talked about this. I'm aware of, but like, I have a full-time position with one of the major firearms distributors in the country as a national sales rep. I don't know that I've ever talked about this on the show before.
No, we haven't. We've actually, I think I've intentionally avoided it because I didn't know how much you'd want to talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's not that I don't mind. It's just it's just a very different angle of the industry that's not super. I mean, the good angle that I have is sometimes I will get a little bit of inside information of stuff that's coming down the pipe. And this is where I get a lot of the quality gear talk because I see the stuff on a regular basis. You know what I mean? So, so when I'm at these shows, a lot of my time is absorbed in meetings with clients. But NRA is a little bit better because this show I've only got 9 or 11. I think 9.
Yeah.
So that gives me a little bit more free time. Like at SHOT Show, I was literally able to walk the floor for about 45 minutes in 4 days.
Yeah.
Which is it's unfortunate because I'm a gear guy. I want to be out touching, feeling, like checking this stuff out. But NRA is when I really get the chance to do that. Cause I mean, all the same stuff is there, just on a smaller level.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, my, that's something that I do, as like a full-time thing, as well as running Squared Away Customs and help, Corey doing the production side of the house. And
right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, I try to balance both at these shows, cause there is some business for me to do there for Squared Away Customs, but the majority of my focus there is on what's new, what's happening, and if any of my clients or customers are there.
Yeah.
But there's also some significant wholesale accounts that'll be there from Squared Away Customs that I'll be chatting with too. So it's kind of juggling up both, and that's why my time is so challenging sometimes.
Yeah, sure. I know it's not for lack of desire. The crazy thing about SHOT is, I saw a statistic that said that it would be physically impossible to walk the show and see everything that's there in the duration of the show, right?
Yeah, I think it's 32 seconds per booth.
Right. And so you got to do 45 minutes of walking around. Yeah, you didn't even scratch the surface of it.
Not even close.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this. The last time I went to an NRA annual meeting was when it was here in my hometown in Nashville. I'm a little sad the gunny has passed away. And so, R. Lee Ermey, former Glock spokesman, he won't be there. Sad. I have pictures of me with him at the last show, and a little sentimental about that. I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe they trot out Chuck Norris this time. Who knows, right? So we didn't even talk about that. That was a big development since the last time we did a show, that Chuck Norris is now the new Glock spokesperson. But I'll be roaming around, and on at least one day I'll wear a Shooters Nation polo and probably have a hat on. But I've got a lot of new campy gun shirts that I'm be wearing. I found one the other day. Sacrifice Manufacturing's got their Guns and Donuts. It looks like the Dunkin' Donuts logo. And I'm gonna walk around with that on it at least one point. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I'll be there. I'll have the family in tow, and look forward to meeting up with some of the listeners, hopefully.
So remember that that Squared Away Customs T-shirt idea that I'd bounced off you, and you responded to me on something. I think we got to run that as a Shooters Nation shirt.
Okay.
Remember your response to me?
I think I do remember.
Let's not let the cat out of the bag here, but
right. I think I do remember which one you're talking about.
I think that'd be a good one.
Huh.
I think it would fit better for Shooters Nation than Squared Away Customs.
Yeah, we'll see. I think I know which one you're talking about. We'll have to look at the logistics of doing those. We'll chat, because I've done some T-shirts in the past for Tennessee gun owners, and it did okay. So,
we could do a soft launch with Teespring to get.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Right. Yeah, because they can do all the fulfillment on this stuff, and so yeah. I've got a box of Shooters Nation hats here. I may stuff some of those inside of my backpack, and I'll tweet it out. Or I'll put it out on Instagram or something. If you find me, I'll give you a hat. Right. But you got to find me and come up and tell me that you're a listener of the show, and I'll give you a hat. So,
and you love Glocks.
Yeah. And that you love Glocks. Right. So anyway. All right, folks. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for the feedback on the survey. We really appreciate it. Hope that this episode, was at least educational, maybe entertaining for you to understand, where we're coming from and what we're doing, and just at least the assurance that we really do read them and that we listen to what you're saying, and we're going to take it to heart. The audio stuff, definitely that's high on my list. I'm going to try to work on that, and guests in the year ahead. Can be working on that for you guys too. So really, we've got some neat ideas bouncing around in our heads, and we'll see what pans out. So, pretty excited about it. Mark, any closing thoughts before we let these folks go?
No, not at all. I think it was a good lineup to be able to kind of lay it all out there and get it in front of everybody. And the biggest thing is the feedback's important about us, for us to be able to keep giving you good content.
Yep. So how do folks connect with you after the show?
Mark at shootersnation.com is the best way. You can email me there. And of course, as always, if you guys need any kydex or anything from Squared Away Customs, holster stuff, whatnot, you can go to squaredawaycustoms.com. Use coupon code ShootersNation.
Indeed, you can.
Some money.
Indeed, you can. I got a recent batch of holsters. Shout out to Corey for helping me out. He took one that he'd made for me once before and made it slightly less dorky, which I'm sure he was happy to see. Probably a personal win for him to be able to take the Glock 19 with the comp and the TLR7 and shorten it down so it didn't look stupid. And I'm glad he did that for me. Appreciate that.
So this episode's going to launch on Sunday.
It's going to launch on Sunday.
Okay, so he won't hear it till Monday. So
indeed,
get out of the bag. Corey has a little. You've been working your ass off. Bonus coming to him tomorrow.
Does he?
Afternoon.
Excellent. Yep. Excellent. Yep.
I have purchased Corey his very first suppressor for his 5.56 gun.
Check it out. Nice. Yep. Well, that's awesome. That is awesome.
So I told him I got a little something. I told him I got a little something for him for his gun, so I had him bring his AR rifle in, and I'm just gonna pull off his muzzle brake and put a different muzzle brake on it,
and then say, "There you go."
Hand him the rifle, and then hand him the can after.
That's evil. I like it. Yeah, but don't give him the can immediately. Just put the new brake on it, and here you go.
Well, it's a threaded muzzle device, so it's going to be kind of telling, right?
Yeah, that's true. Oh well, Corey, congrats, man. That's good stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, folks, you can connect with me at david@shootersnation.com. You can connect with both of us over at shootersnation.com. Again, be sure to follow us on social media. Check us out on Instagram, Shooters Nation Radio. I feel weird saying follow us on Twitter, but follow us on Twitter at shooters_nation. Head over to facebook.com/shootersnation. Look for the link to the Shooters Nation community. Sign up for that sucker. You can hang out with us and all the other listeners that hang out with us and post memes and cat videos and gun related stuff occasionally. We've been talking about bourbon in there a lot lately. Been trying to post some pictures of that stuff. So hang out. It's neat. You get to talk to your fellow listeners and see just how much you have in common with each other. It's pretty fun. And then if you're at NRA Annual Meeting this week, hit me up. We'll see you there. Yeah. So that's it, I guess. So I feel kind of weird. We didn't really I ran out of notes as we got close to the end of the episode this time. It's like, okay, we're done. Blank white space in the notes. I don't know what else. I don't know what to do with my hands at this point. So, all right, everybody, that's it. If you're going to Indianapolis for the NRA Annual Meeting, be safe while you're up there. If you're not doing it, just be safe wherever you are.
The preceding segment was a production of the Shooters Nation podcast. Visit us online at shootersnation.com.